Today's topic is natural magnetism. Now, magnetism is a phenomena in which you observe one material or one substance attracting another substance or repelling another substance. Now, all these phenomena of attraction or repulsion just comes into existence due to the fact that every electron while revolving around its nucleus behaves like a current carrying coil, and every current carrying coil is possess magnetic dipole moment. We have already studied about atomic magnetism in our previous class. So since every atom itself exhibit magnetic properties, so under the influence of those magnetic properties, certain substances either attract or repel certain other substances. Now, this property is what is known as natural magnetism. Now, this is basically exhibited by an ore of iron called as magnetite. So, naturally occurring magnet on Earth happens to be an ore of iron which is called as magnetite. Now, this ore of iron can occur in any shape or size, but for us, the shape that we would take into account, and we will study about all those properties of the magnet, will be an eye-shaped magnet or a bar magnet. So for us, this bar magnet is important. So we are going to study the properties associated with this bar magnet. Other form of magnets that you can that are available to us are U-shaped magnet or cylindrical shaped magnet or a disc shaped magnet. But today, and for class 12th, as per your ISC syllabus, we are going to confine ourselves only and only to the bar magnet. So every bar magnet that you will be observing in the lab or that you will be using in the lab will be an ore of iron, especially magnetite. Now, the region near the magnet where the effect of magnet is the strongest is called as pole. If you refer to this particular diagram, you can see I have suspended a bar magnet in air, and then you can see certain magnetic clips are being attached to it. Now you can see these number of magnetic clips attached to the bar magnet is getting or is much more into the region, into other region of the magnet. So as you move from one end of the magnet, you find that the magnetic effect goes on goes on decreasing either sides. So from this end also, if you move, you will find that the magnetic effect goes on reducing, and from this direction also, if you move, you will find that the magnetic effect is reducing. So at the ends of the magnet or near the ends of the magnet, you find that this magnetic effect is maximum. Now this end where you are finding the magnetic effect to be maximum is called as poles of the magnet. Now, as every atom is a dipole, so do every magnet also is a dipole. That means it has got two poles. One pole is called as north pole, while the other pole is called as south pole. So one pole of the magnet is called as north pole, while the other pole is going to be referred by us as south pole. Now in nature, we always get a dipole. We never get a monopole existing in nature, because once again I would like to reiterate the very concept of previous chapter, that every atomic magnet is also a dipole. So please do remember that no monopoles exist in nature. How do you define magnetic field? it is defined as the region. Now see the definition of this, because this is going to be an important thing. Sometimes if it is asked how define magnetic field, the students tends to write the region near the magnet is called as a magnetic field. No, that definition at class 12th level is not going to be accepted. Now what you need to write down, the region near the magnet where a moving charge particle, that's the first thing you should take care about, where a moving charge particle experiences a force perpendicular to the direction of the motion. So a region near the magnet where any moving charge particle starts experiencing a force perpendicular to the region of the perpendicular to its direction of motion is defined as magnetic field. Kindly take this particular definition into your account, note it down so that you can reiterate them whenever they have been asked. Now, the strength of the magnet is defined in terms of a physical quantity called as pole strength. So every time whenever you are going to use a magnet, you will be told its particular pole strength. Now, greater the pole strength, more stronger the magnetic field that that particular magnet can produce. Now, as far as if I know the pole strength of the magnet, then I can define the dipole moment of the bar magnet. How do we define the dipole moment of a bar magnet? It is defined as the product of pole strength of the magnet into 2L. What is this 2L? 2L happens to be called as magnetic length. Now here you need to understand that magnetic length is different than the geometric length of the magnet. Magnetic length happens to be the distance between the two poles of the magnet. Now, the poles of the magnet do not fall exactly at the end, rather it falls something little inside the little towards inside the magnet. So as you can see that what I'm marking, that is the region, that is the point where you will find that poles of the magnet to be situated. Poles of the magnet means the region where you are experiencing the stronger magnetic field. So this particular length, that is the length between the two poles, is called as magnetic length, and 2L happens to be that magnetic length. Whereas the geometric length is the entire length of the bar magnet. So whatsoever the length of the bar magnet is being given to you, that is called as the geometric length of the magnet, whereas 2L happens to be the magnetic length of the bar magnet. So there is a relationship between geometric length and magnetic length. Magnetic length of any bar magnet is approximately equal to 6 by 7 times of its geometric length. So if you have been given any geometric length, or you can measure the geometric length of the magnet, then you can very easily find out the magnetic length of the bar magnet also. Magnetic length of the bar magnet happens to be 6 by 7 times the geometric length. So every bar magnet is a dipole, and being a dipole, its dipole moment is going to be defined as m into 2L, where m happens to be the pole strength of the magnet into 2L happens to be the magnetic length of the bar magnet. Now remember that dipole moment is a vector quantity. So being a vector quantity, we need its direction to be defined. And by convention, its direction is always directed from the south pole of the bar magnet to the north pole of the bar magnet. So whenever you are going to do the numerical problem associated with these bar magnet, ensure whenever you are using the dipole, ensure that you are mentioning its direction also. So in this particular case, you can say it is directed around the positive x-axis or I cap. So every bar magnet will dipole moment will also have its sense of direction. Dipole moment being a vector quantity, and sense of direction is defined from the south pole of the bar magnet to the north pole of the bar magnet. Now you already know that the dipole moment has got a unit of ampere meter square. अब तक तुम लोग 3 तरह के डाइपोल मोमेंट्स पढ़ चुके हो. पहला डाइपोल मोमेंट जो तुम लोगों ने पढ़ा था वो था इलेक्ट्रिक डाइपोल मोमेंट. याद दिला दे रहा हूं ताकि आपको याद रहे कौन कौन से डाइपोल मोमेंट्स आप पढ़ चुके हैं. जो फर्स्ट टाइप का डाइपोल मोमेंट है वो इलेक्ट्रिक डाइपोल मोमेंट है, और इसमें आपने डिफाइन किया था Q into 2L. यस प्रणव, व्हाट डू यू वांट टू आस्क बेटा? Pranav, unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Sorry, sir, it was done by mistake.
Okay. Uh, so
Sir,
the first type of a dipole moment that you had studied in electrostatic was the electric dipole moment Q into 2L. The second type of dipole moment that you have studied in magnetism was dipole moment of a current carrying coil. So this is the magnetic dipole moment of a current carrying coil. So let me just put up that magnetic also. So the second type of dipole moment that you had studied was the magnetic dipole moment of a current carrying coil. Now current carrying coil was very important for you all because that leads down for atomic magnetism. So magnetic dipole moment of current carrying coil, and the formula for this was NIA, where N was the number of turns, I was the amount of current flowing, and A was the area. A was the area of the coil. So this was the second type of dipole moment that you have studied, and this, from this you have got the unit as ampere meter square. So we are going to continue this unit in for the bar magnets also. Similarly, the second type of dipole moment that you are studying in the bar magnet or simply in natural magnetism is M into 2L, and this is the magnetic dipole moment. Now whenever I am using the word magnetic dipole moment is basically used for bar magnet, taking bar magnet into our assumption. Now we, up till now, we must be able to conclude that even the natural magnetism is a consequence of charges is motion. तो जो भी चार्ज मोशन में होते हैं, जो भी चार्ज सर्कुलेट कर रहे होते हैं, उन्हीं का इफेक्ट एक मैग्नेटिज्म का इफेक्ट है. सो व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी टाइप ऑफ मैग्नेटिज्म, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड that it is all because of charges. It is one of the effect of charges in motion. So what is the SI unit of dipole moment? As I told you, it has been taken from magnetic dipole moment of a current carrying coil, that is ampere meter square, and with the help of this we are going to define the SI unit of pole strength. Substituting it over here, I will get as ampere meter square is equals to the pole strength ki unit. So let me write down meter over here. So ampere meter square is equals to pole strength, symbol is M, and 2L happens to be the length, magnetic length. So length is also going to have a unit of meter. So meter square and meter cancels out. So the unit for pole strength comes out to be ampere meter. Kindly take care about this particular unit. Most of the students often do not know these units, and once they have been asked in the paper, generally either you leave them out. So please take care about that. Now the next formula that we are going to talk about is the force of magnetism. Now if I have taken two magnets, for example, here you can see this is magnet number 1, this is magnet number 2. Now the like poles, whether it is south pole or whether it is a north pole or a north pole, like poles always repel each other. But to the contrary, if there is one south pole and there is one north pole, so unlike poles always attract each other. It is just very much similar to what you had studied earlier in electrostatics. Like charges repel, whereas unlike charges attract. Similarly, in case of bar magnetism also, or in case of natural magnetism also, like poles are going to repel each other, and unlike poles are going to attract each other. The force of attraction or repulsion between these two bar magnets is given by the formula mu naught upon 4 pi m1 m2. Now remember, m1 here happens to be the pole strength of the first magnet and m2 happens to be the pole strength of the second magnet. So F, the force of attraction and repulsion, is given by the formula mu naught upon 4 pi m1 m2 by r square. Now this is the force of attraction or repulsion in case of bar magnets or natural magnetism. Remember students, all these expressions that you have been studying follows one basic law, that is the inverse square law. So remember, inverse square law is now started to become a universal thing for you all. In case of universal gravitation also, you found this particular law written in a different way, but it was there, g m1 m2 by r square, that is, it was proportional, once again it was inversely proportional to the square of the distance. In case of charges also, you found that the force of attraction or repulsion is given by the formula 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Once again, if you notice that the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, that's why you will find that the inverse square law is much more generalized in nature. So, and here also in case of magnetism, you are finding it out as mu naught upon 4 pi m1 m2 by r square. Once again, force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So this inverse square law becomes much more basic in nature, much more generalized in nature. Take care about this fact. Now, every bar magnet has certain properties to exhibit. The very first property of a bar magnet is every bar magnet shows attractive properties. So magnet attracts magnetic substances like nickel, cobalt, iron, etc. Second very much property is that a freely suspended magnet will always rest in a very specific direction, and that specific direction was called a geographical north and south. And the third property that you should know is with every bar magnets is that poles always comes in pair. So if I break any two magnet or any bar magnet into two parts, those two independent parts will also develop two poles. So you can see if I have broken this one long cylindrical magnet into two pieces, so those two pieces also will be having independent two poles. If I go on breaking these bar magnets up to whatsoever level, even at the atomic level, you will find that every atom has got a magnetic dipole. So another very important thing that you all should understand, that dipole is also very basic or general in nature. So every magnet has got two poles. No monopoles exist in nature. Kindly take care about this fact. Now, I would like you all to just kindly pay attention to this particular thing, and this is going to be a little important. You have already studied the electric dipole moment or electric field. With the help of electric dipole moment, we had defined the electric field. Now, I'm just giving you a quick revision for this. You will find the derivations always comes from this point, yani from the electrostatics, and whenever the numerical problems are faced for a dipole, they are generally faced from the magnetic part. Now, you know that in case of electric dipole, you had studied that whenever two charges were placed close by, they used to form an electric dipole. And in case of electric dipole, the dipole moment was defined from a negative charge to the positive charge. So here you can see I have drawn one electric dipole. Now this electric dipole has got a dipole moment which is directed from the negative charge to the positive charge like this. And let me call this dipole moment as P. So this dipole moment happens to be P. And if you recall, then you would be able to recall this line as axial line, and a line which divide this dipole into two equal parts as equatorial line. So these two lines you have studied in case of electric dipole. Now any point that is situated on the axial line is called as axial position, end-on position, or tan A position. So any point that happens to lie on the axial line, this is the axial line. So this axial line was called as, any point on axial line was called as axial position. So all these are axial positions, okay? Similarly, any point that happens to lie on the equatorial line, so this is my equatorial line, the yellow one. So any point that happens to lie on equatorial line is called as equatorial position. Now, recall that the electric field at the axial position was given by the formula 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught It was given by the formula 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 2 p into r upon r square minus l square का whole square. Now student, this formula was applicable for a long dipole. वहां पर आपने derive किया था, तो derivation electrostatics में important है. और for a short dipole, अगर तुम्हें याद हो तो ये फॉर्मूला निकल के आया था एक्सियल लाइन पे 1 अपॉन 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट 2p अपॉन आर क्यूब. लेकिन ये फॉर्मूला तभी एप्लीकेबल होता था जब आपके पास शॉर्ट डाइपोल अवेलेबल होते थे. ये दो फॉर्मूलेस थे बच्चों, इसको आपने वहां पर पढ़ा था. और एक और पॉइंट यहां पे नोटिस करने वाला है कि जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड एक्सियल लाइन पे होती थी, दैट वाज ऑलवेज डायरेक्टेड ऑपोजिट, सॉरी इट वाज ऑलवेज डायरेक्टेड अलोंग द डायरेक्शन ऑफ डाइपोल मोमेंट्स. इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड एट एक्सियल लाइन इज डायरेक्टेड along or parallel to the dipole moment. इसी तरह से आपने इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड एट इक्वेटोरियल लाइन पे भी पढ़ा था 1 अपॉन 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट, और वहां पे जब लॉन्ग डाइपोल था तो आपने पढ़ा था p अपॉन आर स्क्वायर प्लस एल स्क्वायर का होल 3/2. और इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इक्वेटोरियल लाइन ड्यू टू अ शॉर्ट डाइपोल वाज 1 अपॉन 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट p अपॉन r क्यूब. और इस जगह पे जो ये इक्वेटोरियल लाइन पे इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड थी, इक्वेटोरियल पॉइंट पे, नाउ यहां पे जो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड थी इक्वेटोरियल पॉइंट पे वाज डायरेक्टेड या इज डायरेक्टेड opposite to the dipole moment, directed opposite to dipole moment. Similarly for bar magnet now. So this was the result, and please once again I would like you all to remind you that practice the derivation of this. For here you should practice derivation. Now in magnetism we are going to use these results directly. We are not going to derive these results. So derivation is for electrostatics. Learn the derivation with reference to electrostatics only. Now here we are going to use this result. So if you go back and see these results, so for a bar magnet also, you will find that this is a bar magnet. This happens to be the south pole of a bar magnet. This happens to be the north pole of the magnet, and a line that is joining the south pole and the north pole, this particular line was called as magnetic line, or simply you can also call it as axis of a bar magnet. Now, and the length of the magnetic length was 2L, and a line which passes parallel to this axis of the dipole is going to be called an axial line. Any point that happens to be situated, okay, any line which divides the bar magnet into two equal parts is going to be called as equatorial line. And if I place any point over here on equatorial line will be referred as equatorial position. It is also going to be referred as broadside on position, or it can be written as tan V position. Similarly, any point that happens to lie on the axial line is called as axial position. It is also called as end-on position, or it can also be called as tan A position, students. Now the magnetic field, now remember magnetic field, I am using the same result that we have derived from electrostatics. So for any point situated at a distance r from the center of the magnetic field at axial position is given by the formula mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pm r upon r square minus l square ka whole square. What you are observing that here I am using the constant of magnetism, sorry. In electrostatics, the constant of proportionality was 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. For magnetism, the constant of proportionality happens to be mu naught upon 4 pi. So mu naught upon 4 pi, वहां पर simply p लिखते थे dipole moment को, यहाँ पर थोड़ा उस dipole moment से separation करने के लिए मैंने pm लिख दिया. Rest all the result is the same. So you can see for a long bar magnet, I'm going to have this result. Whereas for a very short bar magnet, and remember students, in cases of numerical, you will always get a short bar magnet, okay? So for a very short bar magnet, Bm is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pm upon r cube. And remember once again that in case of magnetic field at this point, is directed parallel to the dipole moment. Magnetic field at this point is directed parallel to the dipole moment. Now, when I move to the equatorial position or 10B position, you will find that the magnetic field formula happens to be similar in nature, the same formula that you had studied over there. The only difference over here is the change of constant of proportionality, and you will find the magnetic field to be written as mu naught upon 4 pi pm upon r square plus l square whole की power 3 by 2. And similarly, you will find that in this case, the magnetic field is directed opposite to the dipole moment of the bar magnet. So take care about these two facts. Now, for a very short bar magnet, the same result will be there, approximated that. So Bm will be equals to mu naught upon 4 pi Pm upon r cube. So students, you should take care about the formula for the bar magnets, magnetic field, and also then you should be ready for answering numerical problem based on to it. In your board examination, you should expect superposition of magnetic fields due to bar magnets. So this is going to be an important part, superposition of magnetic fields due to bar magnets. So suppose if I give you one bar magnet, so please go ahead with the numerical problems on this. This is going to be important. Generally, students avoid these numerical problems. So please prepare them. How? Let me just take one example with you all. I believe you must have noted it down, all these things. So I'm just going back to the original slide, one slide back. So now just see what type of numerical problem one should expect over here. Suppose I give you one short bar magnet like this, and this bar magnet happens to lie, I draw two perpendicular line, and this bar magnet or short bar magnet of pole strength, let me call it as P1 or dipole moment P1. Let's say that it has got a dipole moment P1. This is south, this is north. The dipole moment direction will be this. Is placed at a certain distance R1 from y-axis. I'm just giving a sample problem, okay? A similar type of n number of numerical problems can be framed for you all. And then I say I've got another bar magnet placed with north pole pointing towards the origin. So the dipole moment of the second bar magnet, whose dipole moment is P2, is something like this. And let me ask you, and this bar magnet has been placed at a certain distance R2. So what is the net resulting field at origin? तो बच्चों अगर इस तरह से प्रॉब्लम आ जाए, एक बार मैग्नेट एक्स एक्सिस पे आपने रखा हुआ है विद द नॉर्थ पोल पॉइंटिंग ओरिजिन, दूसरा बार मैग्नेट वाई एक्सिस के पैरेलल रखा हुआ है विद द नॉर्थ पोल पॉइंटिंग ओरिजिन, तो अब मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं डिटरमाइन करो नेट मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एट पॉइंट ओ और एट द ओरिजिन. तो इस तरह के न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम सब तुम्हें वही कॉन्सेप्ट लगाना पड़ेगा. शॉर्ट बार मैग्नेट्स हैं दोनों. बीइंग अ शॉर्ट बार मैग्नेट यू नो द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड फॉर्मूला. अब देखो बेटा, ओरिजिन जो है वो कौन सा पॉइंट हो रहा है? कोई बता पाएगा ओरिजिन पहले वाले मैग्नेट के लिए कौन सा पॉइंट है? कैन एनीबॉडी अनम्यूट एंड टेल मी? ओके, नाउ अगर तुम देखो तो ये पहले वाले मैग्नेट के लिए ये लाइन कैसी हो गई है? ये लाइन एक्सियल लाइन हो गई है, देख सकते होगे. ये लाइन अब एक्सियल लाइन है. तो पॉइंट ओ पहले वाले बार मैग्नेट का भी एक्सियल लाइन है, और अगर तुम ध्यान से देखो तो यही बार मैग्नेट सेकेंड वाले केस में भी जो वाई एक्सिस है वो भी एक्सियल लाइन है. तो इस पॉइंट ओ पर पहले वाले बार मैग्नेट की वजह से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड निकालोगे एक्सियल पोजीशन पे, उसकी कुछ वैल्यू B1 मान लो अगर आ जाती है, तो इस B1 का डायरेक्शन क्या होगा? इट इज डायरेक्टेड अलोंग द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द एक्स एक्सिस. सिमिलरली B2 का डायरेक्शन जो होगा सेकंड वाले बार मैग्नेट का जो डायरेक्शन होगा, इट विल बी डायरेक्टेड अलोंग द y एक्सिस. अब दोनों मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एक दूसरे के परपेंडिकुलर है तो तुम नेट रिजल्टेंट मैग्नेटिक फील्ड निकाल लोगे। तो कुछ इस तरह के न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम्स को आपको इसमें से प्रैक्टिस करना है। Okay, so we discussed this slide. Let's move on to the next one. We'll try to finish it off it today only. Certain properties associated with the magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines of a bar magnet happens to be closed continuous loops traveling from the north pole to south pole outside the bar magnet and south pole to north pole inside the bar magnet. Whenever you draw the tangent at any point on this loop, this will give you the magnetic field direction. So a tangent drawn at any point on this loop will give you the direction of the magnetic field intensity. Similarly, at any point, suppose you draw over here or you draw at another point. Now, two magnetic field lines never intersect each other because at the point of intersection, there will be two directions of magnetic field possible at one point only, and that is an impossible thing. So now the next property says whenever you find the magnetic field lines spaced far away from each other, that represents a weak magnetic field, and whenever they are placed close to each other, that represents a stronger magnetic field. You can see I've drawn a circle, unit circle. At this, you can see the magnetic field are separated very far away, and the same size circle is drawn at another point B. So there are 2 points, point A and point B. Now, you can notice that at point A, the magnetic field are farther away. So the magnetic field in that region is small, and the point where the magnetic fields are concentrated, that at that region, the magnetic field will be, the point where the magnetic fields are separated apart are weak, and the point where the magnetic field are concentrated represents a stronger magnetic field region. And if the magnetic field lines are running parallel to each other, that represents a uniform magnetic field in the region. Now, what is the torque experienced by a bar magnet? If a bar magnet is placed in a uniform external magnetic field making some angle theta, so you can see the dipole moment of the bar magnet makes any angle theta with the magnetic field. So the poles of the magnet will start experiencing a force. The north pole will experience the force along the direction of the magnetic field, whereas the south pole will experience a force directed opposite to the direction of magnetic field. Now, both the forces are directed in the opposite direction. They both are equal in magnitude, hence the net force will be 0. But they will have different line of action. So since you can see the line of action in both the cases are different, so equal and opposite forces with different line of action always constitute a couple or a torque. So under the effect of this torque, the bar magnet starts rotating inside the magnetic field. So one should notice, or one should take care about that whenever a bar magnet is placed in a uniform magnetic field, it starts experiencing a torque. And under the action of this torque, the bar magnet gets rotated along the direction of the magnetic field. And this torque tries to align the bar magnet parallel to the direction of applied external magnetic field. So take care about this fact that whenever a bar magnet is placed in a uniform external magnetic field, the net force is 0. And since the net force is 0, the bar magnet will always be in translatory equilibrium. But since their line of actions are different, so the bar magnet experiences a net torque, and under the effect of this torque, the bar magnet rotates inside a magnetic field and tries to align itself along the direction of the magnetic field. The expression for the torque happens to be the same that you have derived in your electrostatics. So torque being equal to force into perpendicular distance between their line of actions. So substituting the force acting onto it and the line of action, you know that this line, the distance between these two lines happens to be 2L sin theta. तो अगर किसी को नहीं आता तो एक बार जरा सा देखे उसका डेरिवेशन जो हम लोगों ने electrostatics में किया था. You will come to know how this line was equal to 2L sin theta. Torque is equals to m bx 2L sin theta. M into 2L becomes the dipole moment of the magnet, into Bx sine theta, substituting and solving it out, you get the expression for the torque as Pm Bx sine theta, or torque is equals to Pm Bx per cross product. Now you know whenever the dipole is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field lines, it always experiences a maximum torque, and the expression of the maximum torque then happens to be PMBX. So this was the torque expression for the torque experienced by a bar magnet when placed in a magnetic field. Now potential energy of any bar magnet when placed in the in any uniform magnetic field, the same expression that you have derived for dipole moment over there, the same mathematics will follow up. I'm just quickly going ahead with this part. If you want to understand how all these things came, the derivation, please refer to the electrostatics. Now torque acting on the dipole was Pm Bx sine theta, and under the action of this torque, the dipole rotates by any angle d theta. Then the work done in this rotation will be torque into d theta. Substituting it and solving it out, you get this expression for potential energy. Please take a note of all these things. I'm just quickly moving ahead. So comparing this, you will get the expression for the potential energy of a bar magnet placed in magnetic field as Pm Bx cos theta, or Pm dot Bx. So make a note of all these things. This was all for today.